The forest was alive with sounds that evening. As my friends Danso, Kofi, and I made our way deeper into the bush, the air was thick with the scent of ripe ujili, a drupe fruit that hung from the trees like little green lanterns waiting to be picked. We had waited all year for this season, when the ujili would be at its ripest. The pods inside ready to be broken open to reveal the precious seeds used for making ogbono soup. My name is Sowah. This is one of my stories. Please subscribe to Adventures of Sowah to enjoy captivating stories about me and the beauty of Africa. As we walked, our feet crushed the dry leaves beneath us, creating a rhythm that echoed through the trees. Birds chirped from the branches, their calls mixing with the rustles of the wind in the tall grasses. The forest was our playground, our sanctuary, where we knew every tree, every sound, every scent. But that day, something felt different. There was a heaviness in the air, a tension that made my heart beat a little faster. Sowah, remember what your mother said? Kofi teared as we reached the first ujili tree. She warned you about scattering the peels. Centipedes love them. I laughed, trying to shake off the uneasiness. That's just an old woman tale. I have never seen a centipede come near these fruits, I said. Centipedes are known as esu in our own dialect, and they mostly appear during the rainy season with their glittering and slittering appearance. Danso, always the bravest among us, climbed the tree with the agility of a monkey. He shook the branches and the ripe drupes rained down on us. We scrambled to pick them up, stuffing our pockets and small bags full. The ujili sweet juice stained our fingers as we ate, the pores cracking open easily between our teeth. After a while, we sat down on a soft patch of grass, our bellies full and our hearts content. The sun was beginning to set, casting long shadows through the trees. The forest was growing darker, the colors shifting from green to deep blues and purples. I stretched on the ground, feeling drowsy from the food and the warmth of the evening. We finally headed home, the sky now a deep indigo, dotted with the first stars of the night. I am not sharing these with anyone at home, I announced, patting my bulging pockets, especially not my sisters. Kofi and Danso laughed, but they didn't argue. They knew how much I loved ujili, how I hoarded the fruit like a treasure. As we parted ways at the edge of the village, I felt a strange shiver run down my spine. I shrugged it off, attributing it to the cool evening air. When I got home, my sisters immediately pestered me for some of the ujili. Please, Sowah, just one. Please, Sowah, just one, they pleaded. No, I snapped, clutching my bag closer. These are mine. I retreated to my corner of the hut, savoring each fruit. As I devoured them, the sweet sticky juice dripped down my chin, and I carelessly tossed the peels around me, ignoring my mother's warnings. Soon, the pile of the discarded peels grew higher, but I was too content, too full to care. Sleep crept over me like a thick blanket. I barely noticed when my eyes began to close, my body sinking into the mat. The sounds of the village faded away, replaced by the soft hum of the night. Before we continue further, please click the subscribe button below for more adventures of Sowah. Have you done that? Okay, now let's continue. Suddenly, I was jolted awake by a cold, slimy sensation on my leg. My heart pounded as I slowly looked down. There, crawling over my feet, was a centipede, its many legs moving in a wave-like motion across my skin. I froze in terror, my breath caught in my throat. Then, I saw them. Dozens of centipedes, their long, segmented bodies wriggling through the pile of ujili pills I had left on the floor. They were everywhere, their dark forms blending with the shadows in the room. My stomach turned as I realized they had been drawn to the pills just as my mother had warned. But the worst was yet to come. I looked up and my blood ran cold. Emerging from the darkness was the biggest centipede I have ever seen. It was as long as my arm, its body glistening with moisture, its antenna twitching as it moved towards me. Its eyes were small and beady, glinting with malevolent intelligence that sent a wave of pure fear crashing over me. I tried to scream, but no sound came out. My body trembled uncontrollably as the giant centipede crawled closer, its legs making a faint scratching sound against the dirty floor. It moved with a slow, deliberate pace, as if savoring the fear that radiated from me. Finally, I found my voice. "Help!" I screamed, my voice cracking with terror. "Mother, help!" But no one came. My sisters were asleep in the next room. My mother was out visiting a neighbor. I was alone with these horrifying creatures. Desperation gave me strength. I jumped up, only to stumble and fall into the heap of ujili seeds my mother and sisters had collected earlier that day. Something with sharp edges dug into my skin, but I barely noticed the pain. All I could see were the centipedes swarming around me, their bodies twisting and writhing in the dim light. Some of them coiled up as they come in contact with me. I struggled to get up, but something held me down. I looked around frantically and realized with a sickening dread that the heap of seeds was infested with centipedes. They were everywhere, crawling over the seeds, over my legs, my arms. The giant centipede was almost upon me now, its mandibles clicking menacingly as it approached. Tears streamed down my face as I thrashed wildly, trying to free myself from the horror around me. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would burst. Then, my brain began to play me a trick, for I saw the centipedes were on me now. Their legs pricking my skin, their bodies cold and slimy against my flesh. I saw the giant centipede reared up, its body aching as it prepared to strike. And then, everything went blank. When I woke up, I was in my bed. My mother sitting beside me with a worried look on her face. My sisters were there too, giggling softly. "What happened?" I whispered, my voice weak. "You fainted, Sowah," my mother said gently. "Your sisters found you in a heap of ujili seeds. They said you were screaming about centipedes." I shuddered. The memory of those horrible creatures still fresh in my mind. "They were real, Mother. The centipedes were real." My sisters laughed, but my mother looked at me with concern. "Maybe they were, Sowah, but you should listen to your elders next time. I warned you about scattering those pills." I nodded, too shaken to argue. I had learned my lessons the hard way. The forest, with all its wonders and dangers, was not to be taken slightly. And the stories our elders told were not just tales. They were warnings, born of experience and wisdom.
Ah, eh.